What is up, YouTube Steam blockchain? So today I want to talk a little bit more about a specific thing that I've been playing around with the last couple of days. It's a website called talktotransformer.com, which is basically using, I'm going to read from the website. So, built by Adam King, as an easier way to play with OpenAI's new machine learning model. In February, OpenAI unveiled a language model called GPT-2 that generates coherent paragraphs of text, one word at a time. And then it says, this site runs the full-sized GPT-2 model called 1558M. Before November the 5th, OpenAI had only released 3 smaller, less coherent versions of the model. While GPT-2 was only trained to predict the next word in a text, it surprisingly learned new basic competence in some tasks like translating between languages and answering questions. That's without ever being told that it would be evaluated on those tasks. So, I mentioned this a little bit briefly in sort of other videos, but basically AI is sort of this has been a very interesting year because text generators are getting better. So you can go on this website now and test it out, talktotransformer.com, write in a few words, start a sentence, and then click on generate. And most of the times when I've tested it, it's pretty impressive, especially because this is something new that they just started this year. And I thought they said a few times that it was too dangerous to release. They didn't want to release it, but of course everything eventually just gets released because people see something that's cool and then they want to share it, and so yeah. So text generating, we already have it with websites that they're sort of generating new articles by generating it. So a lot of websites have some machine that's reporting on so-called news, and it's creating more competitive stuff in the market of text. And for the end consumer, you're actually winning because eventually you're getting better knowledge. Of course, this is also being combined with audio. So we're seeing great innovations with AI and audio. I recently heard a story that if you can just listen to 5 minutes of a person's voice, you can sort of make it start making sentences and start talking, which is, wow, that goes pretty quick. So for me, how I look at this, I just look at it from a raw computing power perspective, where we tend to look at it from more of the human side of it, where we see that someone's writing a long comment, but in the future that's probably going to be a small thing because you'll be able to generate intelligence in a second. You can generate a long comment and then you can just put it out somewhere. It's going to be very interesting to see how that's going to sort of shift the industry, especially a lot of the online stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how humans are going to interact with this technology. Humans, of course, going to experiment with it, and this is really when we're going to start to see the benefits of proof of brain token systems, where you really need more ways to sort of be able to evaluate if a human is using their brain, or if they're using some kind of intelligence, and if they're creating a better experience. I mean, that's really the key, right? The key is basically to create a better experience for everyone and provide value, right? So that's where the whole sort of industry is sort of going. And of course, we know a lot of the industry eventually is going to move to video and voice. So YouTube is in a pretty interesting spot because video, it really seems like the right fit. When I look at Twitter, for example, which is mainly written by humans right now, probably more intelligent machine. Just because it's mainly focused on text, Twitter can easily be replaced by some artificial intelligence and better text generator, because people mainly go to Twitter to find data, text information, and this can probably be done better by some text generating tool. So people are probably going to start to engage more with AI eventually, artificial intelligence. So this is very great also, this tool, when you want to brainstorm and try to find new intelligent ideas. Or this is like a great tool to ask questions and see what it comes up with. It's almost like a faster version of Google, and a more intelligent version of Google, where you don't go to Google and search and then click a link, but you instantly get the text. And you're taking it a step further, where you basically cut out most of the noise. So no need to go to a website, no need for annoying ads, no need to sign up for an email, newsletter, or whatever. So it saves a lot of time and energy, which is quite interesting. And yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how humans are going to play around with these tools. I made a video talking about it, I think around 6 months ago, about having a text generator or having a number generator that, and both of these are starting to sort of manifest in a way I sort of start to see. So it's kind of funny with the number generator, for example. We start to see, for example, we saw with Instagram hiding likes. They sort of are starting to consider more game theory also. And they're also starting to realize in many ways, well, they start to consider these measurements, like should everyone see them, or is it just good that it's somewhere there in the background, so mainly the author of something can see it, and it seems to be better in a game theory perspective. But that doesn't mean that it's better with token, for example. Tokens may actually be good if people are visually seeing them. We have to see how it sort of develops in the future, and how people interact with a specific set of technology. But with Instagram, it sort of feels like, I feel that it was a good decision. So a text generator is finally here, and obviously this is just because this is early machine learning. It's going to evolve, and it's going to become way better. It's going to be able to eventually improvise. And this year we also have seen a lot of interesting, so face swaps, making videos with other faces is starting to become really good now, and it's only going to speed up in the 2020s. And it's probably going to make people question more, and it's interesting because with Google, for example, I feel sometimes already right now, 2019, I don't feel like I'm getting so much value from Google. Usually it's annoying to have to click on so many websites, and most of them are just filled with ads. It seems like tools like Talk to Transformer, that they're going to take over more. And tools like this is very interesting, because if you ask a question, or if you write a question, or if you start a sentence and it fills it up with more kind of data, it is many times can even be more interesting data than you would ever find at some other location. So that's kind of interesting. It's very interesting. And it's going to evolve the whole industry, how people are sort of looking at different things. It's probably going to make people ask better questions eventually, because they get so much relevant data instantly right there without have to go somewhere else. So it saves so much time and energy and effort, which is what technology basically should be doing. And right now it doesn't generate limitless length on the text material, because it's pretty expensive. I think they're running with GPUs and CPUs and all this, and I think it costs around right now for them to use to run the servers like $200 per day, which is it's a lot. And when people start to use these more, it's probably going to be more expensive for them. but eventually probably the bigger players are going to become involved, and everyone's going to get the benefit of it, and they're going to see the value of sort of this technology eventually. And then people will be able to make way more longer stuff. So right now it is a few paragraphs. In the future it's probably going to be like limitless length, and that's kind of interesting because then eventually you can improvise on the improvisation, you can turn it into a movie, you can make songs, you can make poetry out of it. I mean, it really is limitless potential when you have all this sort of data down. So that's going to be interesting to see sort of how people are playing around with sort of that data. And people are going to probably in the 2020s, and these upcoming years, people are probably going to start to notice more the difference between memory and sort of intelligence, and that they're two different things. And they're going to see that we can play a lot with memory, but that it's never really fully intelligence. So maybe then people use more intelligence, upgrading themselves in terms of actually becoming aware of their own intelligence and other people's intelligence and getting a better perception of life. Hopefully that can happen. So that's what I want to talk a little bit about today. So if you want to check it out, just go to the website, play around with it, and yeah, have a great day, DTube and Steam blockchain.